there! Have you ever thought to yourself while watching your favorite movie, when did movies even become a big thing in America? Who even pioneered feature-length films? Well, my esteemed moviegoer, this can all be traced back to the fabulous Roaring Twenties! Wait, what are the Roaring Twenties, you might ask? This is a term often referred when discussing or writing about a period in America's history that took place during the 1920s. It was a paramount era in American history as many social and political changes took place during the era while reverting back to some policies before the Progressive Era transpired. One paramount factor for these evolving times in America was the developing taste for materialistic items and a flagrant showcase of wealth. The US had become the most affluent country after World War I with a booming economy inside of the borders. American citizens developed a taste for materialistic items like radios, cars, larger houses, and so much more. Okay, well that's cool and all, you might ask, but where does this connect to my movies? Where does cinema play a role in this whole strange decade? Because I sure ain't seeing any Marvel characters or cute couples with cancer! Well, sheesh, no need to be aggressive. Really, in order to see the connection between the 20s and where I'm going is to have a solid definition of the 1920s. It can simply be put as the era of transition into modernism and debate over the true values of American life. And in order to fit into that bunch, I would like to present one of the pioneers of modern cinema, Cecil B. DeMille. Cecil Blanc DeMille, born August 12, 1881, was a conservative director/producer associated with the Episcopalian Church. He began his cinematic career producing early in the 20th century and continued well into the 1950s until he died in '59. Even after DeMille's death, his movies continue to provide inspiration in a classical sense of the 1920s in cinema, as there is an award coincidentally with the same name, the Golden Globe Cecil B. DeMille Award. DeMille's father, Henry Churchill DeMille, was a cleric and a playwright until he died when his son was 12. From there, Cecil B. DeMille attended the Pennsylvania Military College before moving to the New York American Academy of Dramatic Arts in 1898. After 2 years, DeMille debuted as an actor in 1900. However, after his debut, DeMille always seemed to play second fiddle to his brother William Churchill DeMille rather than his own theatrical works. Looking to change this path, DeMille joined with his friend Jesse Lasky, a businessman Samuel Goldfish, and attorney Arthur Friend in order to form the Jesse L. Lasky Feature Play Company. From there, the company produced one of the first feature-length films in American history, The Squaw, and it was an instant success. From there, DeMille spent more of his time creating biblical features, the most famous work being The Ten Commandments in 1923, which depicts the Book of Exodus in such artistic detail that the movie was a massive success for its time. However, the strain of the movie's budget damaged DeMille's reputation with Lasky's company, now merged with Adolf Zucker's company to form Paramount Pictures. DeMille packed his bags and decided to roll up his sleeves and make his own production company, Cecil B. DeMille Pictures. After his company's short life, though, he moved between companies and finally moved back to Paramount for the rest of his career. DeMille married Constance Adams in 1902, where they had one biological daughter, Cecilia, and adopted 3 more children, Catherine, John, and Richard. In 1959, DeMille died of heart ailment and was buried at the Hollywood Memorial Cemetery. Okay, cool, great and all, but how does this connect to the 20s? Just because he worked during then doesn't prove he influenced it that much! Wow, quiet down and I might finally get to my point! With all this debate between modernism and traditional values in the 1920s, it's difficult to fit Cecil B. DeMille into either category. He evolved into one of America's greatest and most influential producers at the time, which was widely rejected by religious groups. However, DeMille himself was a devout Episcopalian, as we have shown earlier, and dedicated most of his films to biblical ideals and legends. Therefore, Cecil B. DeMille heavily embodies the definition of the Roaring Twenties. He defied tradition by pouring his creativity into filmmaking, while incorporating traditional religious values that still lingered in the hearts of Americans. To start off, DeMille was born in an influential Christian cleric's family. His father was known as writing conventional plays that incorporated intriguing drama and comedy that were unique for their time. So, for the first 12 years of his life, Cecil B. DeMille certainly grew up with that religious influence mixed with an ever-changing style and entertainment from his father and was sure to draw on it. And even during his career, DeMille's influence extended into religious films, where he was mainly known for spending large amounts of money and hiring tens of thousands of cast members to play background characters in the Ten Commandments. Speaking of the Ten Commandments, that movie inspired generations of religious followers, meaning that even when children saw it, they enjoyed it so much that they passed on the nostalgia of it to their children, and so on and so forth. So where does all of that go? Well, DeMille's career in producing and directing religious films shows that he never traveled far from his roots and Episcopalian influence. Despite the expanding modernist values of the era, DeMille kept true to the traditionally and religiously affiliated citizens of the 1920s America. However, there's more than the religious path to DeMille. After attending the Pennsylvania Military College for some time, he pursued a theatrical path in life by attending the New York American Academy of Dramatic Arts in 1898. Then, later in his life, he co-founded the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences and the Screen Directors Guild as well. DeMille undoubtedly showed a vested passion for the education of future filmmakers and actors that would eventually come to fruition in American entertainment. Additionally, DeMille had an attitude and stubbornness to him that made him overwhelmingly unique from other filmmakers and business owners. He even went so far as to criticize both atheism and the harsh conditions of juvenile reform schools in his 1929 film, The Godless Girl. So, DeMille certainly had a metaphorical muckraker buried in his heart, although he was never a journalist or worked directly within the media. So, once again, what's the point of all of this? DeMille invested his time and money into building up fledgling directors, producers, actors, and so much more just because he loved working in the industry so much. He didn't let his religious ties hold him back that much, as he produced many more films besides religious ones. DeMille worked both inside and outside of the box, and even when that damaged his reputation or relationship with whatever company he worked with, he continued to work on films until they were completed. So, with the combination of his strong religious ties and an unwavering passion for filmmaking, Cecil B. DeMille showed that he was not only a wondrous symbol of the 1920s, but that there could be a proper middle point between traditional values in America and the expanding modernist ideals. And that, my esteemed viewer, is just the extent of how representative Cecil B. DeMille was for his era, and even how he still affects today. Bet you feel pretty smart after watching this train wreck, so get back to doing whatever you were doing before! And thanks for watching!